Dave, what song are we up to?
Christmas.
What Christmas Town? What song are we up to, Dave?
We are up to my favorite song on Flood.
What?
Which is called We Want a Rock.
Where was I forgot the point that I was making. I said if I was smart that I would save up for a piece of string and a rock to wind the string around. Everybody wants a rock to wind a piece of string around. Everybody wants a rock to wind.
Ooh, I love that harmony, Dave. We're gonna sing the harmony later, I think. I know Dave's excited about that.
I love that.
Yeah, so after like Particle Man and Twisting, I feel like the songs get, shall we say, challenging lyrically.
Yeah.
A lot of my preparation for this episode was me just literally staring at the lyrics.
Oh yeah, don't look at me, man. It's gonna be a
Okay, I was hoping Dave had figured it all out.
I can't.
So, but I do have some like let's say outside the box theories about some of these songs, which I've been excited to talk about. So We Want to Rock. Well, what should we talk about first? We can start right at the title.
Yeah.
We Want a Rock. So We Want a Rock is a reference to, you know this, right, Dave?
The Twisted Sister, yeah?
It's called I Want to Rock.
Yeah.
What do you wanna do with your life? I wanna rock! I wanna rock! I want to rock!
So the narrator in the song wants to rock. It's funny, I looked up the lyrics being like, okay, what's really going on here? And that's the extent of it.
I would assume so, yes.
He doesn't like when...
Is Dee Snider the writer of the music in Twisted Sister?
I don't know. It says songwriter Daniel D. Snyder.
I didn't know that was his name.
Jerome Snyder.
I know he's from Long Island.
This is a very Long Island song, isn't it? Yeah, he's mad that people are telling him to turn his music down, and he says, "Well, in my humble opinion, I think I should like to rock."
You know what? I don't like to get involved in politics, but I think in this case, I'm going to have to take his side.
Yeah. So this kind of leads to my like grand theory about this song, and this is a song that Linnell has spoken of a little, but he didn't say the thing I'm saying, which is I do think the referencing what could be called a dumb
hey
okay, a dumb rock pop.
I don't think
song.
you can. You may be straightforward.
Sure,
I think dumb is a character judgment.
Yeah, it is.
And
I'm judging his character.
And I won't stand here.
And I judge his character guilty of dumb.
Listen, you besmirch the good name of Daniel D. Snyder.
I like the song in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I like Twisted Sister. They're fine.
Yeah. So okay, so let me try to be succinct about this. I think this song is kind of like a very abstract criticism of popular music, maybe in a similar vein as Mainstream USA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason I think that is because there's several, sort of like with Mainstream USA, there's several references to other pop songs within the song. Not that they're all references to bad pop songs, but and then there's this kind of motif in the lyrics about like, and this is something Linnell does on this album a few times, and in general, which I love him for, is this kind of this motif of collectively looking down at a mass of people as a bunch of drooling babies who need a little bottle because they're a bunch of stupid babies. This is like
stupid babies need the most attention.
So to me, he's sort of indirectly, and I'm kind of coming out with this big theory right at the top rather than easing into it. To me, he's indirectly taking like this observation that if people are so dumb that they like this dumb music, they might as well be dumb enough that they'll buy rocks and hit themselves in the head with the rock, which we're going to get to later. That's my idea anyway, what happens in the song. So this is kind of my overarching theory. They have, you'll catch them in interviews like saying disparaging things about the state of music and rock music, especially around the time of Flood.
Are there any themes that you cannot write about because you seem to be writing about anything? Doorknobs, hard feelings, broken hearts, staplers. And are there any themes that you really don't feel writing about at all?
Well, we have a hard time writing songs that go tonight or into the night. We can't
with the arm.
Sort of the beer commercial kind of a night thing is kind of eluding us, but we're practicing it. So
you mean like every rock band from the States does?
Yeah, get the kind of the big.
That's the thing is we can't seem to get it together to be like a normal rock band from the States and have songs that go night.
But they also did say, I mean, and this is probably a bluff also, that Linnell said the song's not about anything specific.
I know,
which we know he does a lot, and maybe he means it, but we find a lot of meaning in them.
Let's look at what Linnell said about the song, and then in lieu of an audio clip, I'm just going to read it in my best John Linnell impression, which is the same exact sound as my actual voice. So that's lucky for all you.
Cool.
So Linnell says about the song. Well, first, I love this quote starts with him saying, I was like, yeah.
That's a real quote.
Yeah. So he goes, there's a little bit of stream of consciousness to writing that one. This sounds really abstract, but in order to begin wrapping a piece of string around itself, you need something to start with, like a rock. It's a metaphor for getting started. It was just a general set of loose metaphors, where do you begin? So, okay, I'll split this quote in half because it's like a lengthy quote. So that's like very fascinating to me. And I'm not saying Linnell's circumventing the idea that the song is like a rock music is dumb song, but maybe he is a little, in my opinion. I just want to emphasize, this is all my personal opinion. And also, I don't even hold my own opinions to 100%. I'm constantly second-guessing myself.
I don't think you're completely off base, but I took it more as just kind of a funny way, almost a reverent way of saying like, rock music can be kind of silly. And we know we're a little bit silly and maybe we don't rock. Maybe it's this sort of self-awareness. So he's saying like, listen to this very unrock-like song.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it rocks to me, but
I think it does rock, especially live. It's pretty rocking. I mean, that just happens.
Well, let's say if you were to compare rock in the conventional sense, this compared to Twisted Sister, you would very easily see that.
Though
Twisted Sister is rock.
I know which one makes me wiggle my butt more. It'd be this one. Is that how you measure rock? I don't know. Headbang?
Yeah.
I guess this doesn't make me headbang. So Linnell is saying the rock is a stand-in for this kind of symbolic idea of a starting point. So then Linnell further says in this quote, it's a funny conceit saying everyone has this problem when it's really about the problem of the person singing about wanting a prosthetic forehead. It's hard to make the argument that everybody wants one. You're enlisting everyone else. So to me, that's kind of a sub-comedic thing in the song. So a narrator, narrator in the song wants this weird thing, and then he's being like, everybody wants it. So that's like a totally weird idea that I'm not sure if it runs contrary or parallel to my theory about the song.
Well, if a narrator wants everybody to do this thing, that can definitely go along with what you're saying about rock music. It's like, I want everybody to rock. What does rock mean? What does rocking out mean? Yeah. Well, we don't even really know, but do it.
Or even like if you look at it in the point of view of like a radio DJ, it's just like, I like this song, so everybody must like the song, or a record label. Like I feel there's a few songs on this album that are kind of poking fun at them being on a major label. Like I don't know when they wrote the songs. A few of the Flood songs showed up in the early 80s, but some of them I think were written when they maybe got the label. I'm not sure. Or maybe they saw what was happening with their career because it was just like getting, bigger and bigger. But so this and another song we're going to talk about, I think, covers this ground. So I have a theory about the first line, which is, the first line is, where was I?
Yeah.
I forgot the point that I was making, which is a funny way to start a song.
Yeah, and it backs up what he was saying about starting things.
Oh my God, that's a good point. Yeah, okay, I see what...
I did something.
His quote is making more sense to me. See, I have an alternate theory about that line that I'll get to later.
Well, lay it on me.
It makes sense more when we're in the latter end of the song.
Lay it on me later.
Okay. I said if I was smart that I would save up for a piece of string and a rock twine to string out. To me, this reeks of like brainwashing, and I want to tie it again to the corporate brainwashing of like corporate music and like everyone likes this new, Beach Boys, Backstreet Boys, some boys song. You know what I mean? So saying I said if I was what's interesting to me about the first verse and why I actually think it's like a terrifying verse And I know Dave likes to be terrified.
Yeah.
It's almost like he had like this brain fog, like his thoughts went away. And then it was replaced by another thought that he didn't originate. And he goes, I said if I was smart that I would save it for... So it's almost like he saw like a subliminal commercial that told him to buy a piece of string and you know.
Well, no, there's a lot of songs about being brainwashed. And
yeah, it's like a very common theme with him.
I think it's omnipresent on his mind. Maybe he's afraid of he's susceptible.
Yeah, I don't know. But they seem like such rebellious spirits. Or maybe they're just judging the idiot masses, which is what I think.
Right, or it's just a character.
It's their like art school hipster asshole, attitude, which I love because I'm the same way. But and most of my friends are.
I'm not. I'm a great person.
But so you see what I mean? Like he's saying, imagine that like I'm talking to you, Dave, and then I go,
I can't imagine that.
try to imagine. Actually, I haven't seen Dave like at all in the past few weeks. It's kind of weird.
I saw you in the street.
I saw Dave in the street for 1 second.
That's like disarming.
It is. I was like,
it bothered me.
Is this the podcast? What do I do? I started talking about take out the trash. I didn't know what to do. So anyway, imagine if I was talking to you, Dave, and I was just going like,
all right, I'll do my best.
You know, I was making myself some quinoa, and then I like blank out, and I go,
Is that what you would talk to me about?
And then I go, what was I saying? And I was like, oh yeah, I was saying it'd be great if we saw the new Disney movie. That would be like, did you just get like brainwashed by like a Disney billboard? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'd rather talk about that than quinoa. Come on.
It's because you're a brainwashed simpleton.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, so I hope I made that clear. That's what I think is going on in the first verse. Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't know.
I think the person in the song is struggling as we are to... I think that this is just one of those songs that really makes you think about it.
Yeah. Well, also, I find this too, and we'll also get to this for Whistling in the Dark, but the repetitive nature
that's another one.
Of the song. I feel like when Linnell does that, and I really feel like Linnell has done this in a few songs, like he's really making a point about a mindlessness quality, right? A mindless quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so
say
like
a few more times.
So to me, like the repetitive nature of the song, this kind of violin part that kind of swirls around over and over on itself.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I loved the song. You know, I especially loved, I thought like the melodic and the musical qualities of it really like were infectious to me.
It's beautiful.
But I remember being like, why is it so repetitive? They might be giants. Why are they repeating this so much? And like, it's only when I'm older. One, now I'm more used to longer songs because I like other bands.
And you know that chorus is repeat?
Yeah. But I feel like with thematically, it's like, no, it's funny. It just makes it funnier the more you say it, right?
Well, it's also like the song forgets that it's a song also.
But what do you mean by that?
Well, it's like, oh yeah, we have to do this again. Like the song is kind of forgetting what it was saying.
Yeah, oh my God. So
Nailed it.
We'll talk a little about the music. I love the guitar in it, the tremolo guitar throughout it. TMBW says that Linnell is playing banjo on this, but I don't know if that's true.
Did not hear any banjo, but I've been wrong before.
I think I do hear a banjo way down. I think in the center of the stereo.
Way down in my soul.
Way down there. So that's cool. I love the banjo. I love the tremolo guitar, the violin. It's always been just like one of their most like pleasing songs.
That was the word I was going to use.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Throw the crib door wide, let the people crawl inside. Someone in this town is trying to burn the playhouse down. They want to stop the ones who want to rock to wind a string around. But everybody wants a rock to wind a piece of string around. Throw the crib door wide, let the people crawl inside. Someone in this town.
Yeah, it's the most pleasing melody. It's so easy to listen to.
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's a lovely song.
It flows really well. I mean, I think Linnell
just makes me happy.
Linnell's melodies in general and his chord progressions, there's this kind of like, there's this second nature to them where you're just like, it's like he makes it seem easy. You know what I mean? Like they don't seem like they're struggled to piece a melody together.
It's second nature.
Another quote Linnell had about this song is he says, I guess the song is
I don't think he sounds very sure of himself.
Yeah. I think it's because he doesn't want to say what it's really about, which is my theory.
He says rock people are stupid.
Yeah. I guess the song is a metaphor. We who have nothing to wind string around are lost in the wilderness. but those who deny this need are burning our playhouse down. If you put quotes around certain words, it sounds more like a metaphor.
Yeah.
So he's kind of making fun of like, I don't know how to explain this song kind of attitude.
When they say playhouse, do they mean like a kid's toy, or do they mean a theater full of people watching a play?
That's a good question. I never thought
Look
of
at
that.
me.
What I imagined was like a little jungle gym,
Yeah,
little,
that's kind of what I thought.
like, you know, like primary colors. Okay, so the chorus, which I think is the chorus, throw the crib door wide, let the people crawl inside. Linnell's antisocial qualities are very endearing to me.
But can we back up for a second?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're getting into the nitty gritty of these lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Cribs, do they have doors? It means like something a baby's in.
No, yeah, they swing open. Like I think
I don't know.
There's
I slept in a cave.
there's a latch on the crib. Do you know, Dave?
Okay.
Do you know what my earliest memory is? It's being in a crib. You could have guessed, but yeah. What's your earliest memory, Dave?
My earliest memory is asking how old I was. No, seriously.
What was the answer?
3.
Oh, wow. You really like nailed down at least the year that your earliest memory is from.
I mean, if you're going to have an earliest memory, it's pretty handy to have your age in the memory.
And on the TV in the background, President Kennedy has been...
Yeah, I think I was like, same voice. Hey, Dad. How old am I?
Yeah. No, my earliest memory
3, son.
My earliest memory is being in a crib. It's kind of surreal if you think about it, because I must have been a baby.
Yeah.
But I do remember it.
And then I don't remember about 10 years after that.
Yeah, those were the dark times. Yeah.
So babies, what are they good for?
So throw the crib door wide. Linnell is telling, it's basically calling us all babies.
Yeah.
I believe he's excluding him and I think Flansburgh, his friend.
I guess. Who knows?
But then he says, someone in this town is trying to burn the playhouse down, which brings us to this song.
The Killer.
I've got an aching in my heart, arson on my mind. I'm gonna burn your playhouse down. I've got a badly broken heart. Yes, I've had it from the start. You're giving me the run around. Now if you play with fire, it's sure to burn.
So who's this gentleman?
I'm going to burn your playhouse down. That performance was by George Jones, and it was written by Lester Blackwell. And another interesting note is that it was later covered by the Proclaimers, who we talked about a bunch for Dead. And let's hear the Proclaimers version, because I have a feeling this is what Linnell might have heard.
I've got an aching in my heart, arson on my mind. I'm gonna burn your playhouse down. I've got a badly broken heart, and I've had it from the start. You're giving me the run around.
A lot of extra vowels in there.
A lot of character in their voices, right, Dave? Not like us, right? So I'm gonna burn your playhouse down is basically like I'll sink Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's basically like instead of I'm gonna sink your Manhattan down, it's I'm gonna burn your playhouse down.
Well, it's a threat.
It's a threat.
It's definitely a threat.
I hope he's on some sort of FBI watch list for releasing that hateful song. So why is Linnell referencing this song in the midst of his other song, maybe about songs? I'm not sure. Dave, do you have a theory?
Oh, putting it on me?
Yeah, well, okay. I guess what's coming to mind now is that he's like, someone in this town is trying to burn the playhouse down. If you want to take it as like a reference to the song, it could be that he's like seeing this popular song as like a legitimate threat and he's misinterpreting it, and that could tie into how like he's being controlled by the radio and what's supposed to be good music. So that's kind of might be a stretch, but I also am kind of think that was a great sentence I said. So
well,
there
there were words, and I think it's good.
Yeah. But in terms of the context outside of the pop music thing, and I don't mean that he's being like self-aggrandizing here, but he's kind of being like, in my opinion, like oh, like cool people like me and Flans who have this awesome band that's like outside the mainstream are trying, we're the people who's trying to like burn the playhouse down of all the dumb, silly people who like all the dumb stuff. So like try to like crawl away from them, you know, and like watch out for them. Like I almost see it as him being like, it's about like being the artsy weirdos. But I could be totally wrong. I mean,
if we go by the lyrics, those people.
Then it totally doesn't work.
So those people, someone in this town is trying to burn the playhouse down. Meaning the people that want to burn it down.
Or you could say they might be giants.
They want to stop the ones who want a rock to wind a string around.
Dave is turning into a baby.
This song is making me regress.
Babyfying Dave. Tiny Dave.
Well, because I fumbled over that word, I completely forgot my point. So take it, Jordan.
No, you weren't so much making a point as
no, I wasn't.
No, I was trying to compliment you. You weren't so much making a point as trying to
making a brilliant point,
as trying to clarify the literal things happening in the lyrics, which a lot of these songs on the latter half of Flood really call for because they really fall on top of themselves in these lyrics. So you get kind of lost. Like it's kind of like meant to.
I was just trying to trace who. Yeah. If we're going by your theory.
Yeah.
Perhaps they're the ones that are burning it up, and the cool guys.
That's my theory.
They are also the ones who want to stop the rock to wind a string around.
They want to stop the ones who want to rock. They're saying they want to stop the people from buying this stupid shit. They want them to buy Flood.
The people who have the
brand
rocks
new record
are the dullards.
The dullards. The morons.
That we're saying.
Our listeners. I'm just kidding. You're the people who are excluded from this.
I got a paper and pen right here. I'm going to make a flow chart.
Okay. He's really doing it.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm writing something else down.
Oh, he's writing, somebody help me, held hostage on podcast. So this all ties into my theory is that I even do think it's funny that they say they want to stop the ones who want, like they might be giants. So to think of it as this way, they might be giants want to stop the ones who want a rock to wind a string around.
You can't say it either.
but everybody wants a rock to wind a piece. So this does contrast. So Linnell's idea of the narrator saying everybody wants this to him is like a sort of not a secret joke, but it's kind of like an inside joke of like the humor is that he's assuming that.
But Flansburgh wants to rock.
Flansburgh is a rocker.
He's a rock guy, and they're a rock band. So, I don't know. It could be a little self-aware also.
Yeah, that's true. So verse 2 in We Want a Rock. If I were a carpenter...
If I were a carpenter, I'd hammer on my piglet. I'd collect the $7 and I'd buy a big prosthetic forehead and wear it on my real head. Everybody wants prosthetic foreheads on their real heads. Everybody wants prosthetic.
You know who was a carpenter?
Who?
Jesus.
So do you think that's a reference to Jesus?
I do now.
You convinced yourself.
Just now. If you recall, I said there were some biblical implications in this album.
You did say that.
And I'm trying to shoehorn in another one.
We do know one thing. It is a reference to this song.
If I were a carpenter, you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? If a tinker were my trade, would you still find me carrying the pots I made, following behind me?
So, if I were...
I don't appreciate you undermining my half points with your actual research.
Hey. That's a good name for a podcast. Half points. So that's going to be Dave's like spin-off, like post-show, like his like Talking Dead.
Yeah. Half thoughts.
So If I Were a Carpenter is a 1967 song by Tim Hardin, famously covered by many artists, including Johnny Cash. So what this song is basically saying is, will you love me if I have a blue-collar job, like an average schmo?
Yeah, but you know who had a blue-collar job?
Jesus? He did.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, so...
Well, actually, his dad and him.
God had a blue collar. I think God's in the 1%.
His human dad.
His human. Who is his human dad?
Joseph.
Jacob.
Joseph. Right?
I don't know the Bible very well.
Don't fact check me. Next.
Well, it is funny because it's like, it's sort of, we've talked about this before with like their lyrics that imply things, but then aren't those things. It's like, you mention a carpenter in a song, you can't play dumb and be like, do you know Being There? Right? You ever saw that movie?
Is that with John Malkovich?
No, that's Being John Malkovich.
Then no.
That's a movie that has this like, I won't spoil it, but there's like this very, very blatant Jesus reference. And I read like about them after I saw the movie, I read like the director being like, oh, that's not that at all. We just thought of that day and thought it'd be fun. And I'm like, when that happens, I'm just like, yeah, but you must have known, right? Like that
right, you can't put your head in the sand.
People would think that. So perhaps there is there is like a biblical, it does make the song, when you do that in a song, it makes the songs feel bigger, bigger than life.
Well, you could be a lot of blue collar things. You could have said if I was a garbage man,
Well, but so then there's the reference to the song.
But
are you talking about the original song?
I'm talking about both, yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's not as poetic to be like, if I was a garbage man.
Well, we just watched, me and Kristen watched my girlfriend, Kristen, we watched The Day the Earth Stood Still. And in that.
Seen it?
Yeah, the alien is named like Carpenter, or whatever the fuck, right? He's named like
John Carpenter?
Christ. Yeah, his name's John Carpenter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Jesus references.
I don't think that's
true. There's a lot of Jesus references in that movie, and it's very intentional.
The Keanu Reeves one, right?
Yeah. In that case, like Carpenter is just kind of like it's a signal to people. I feel like I feel bad for carpenters. They're probably just like, hey, I'm just here to fix your
fix your pipes. That's what they do, right?
Yeah, I'm just here to fix your carpet. Is that what they do? They do? No, that's carpenters. I'm mixing up carpenters and carpenters. He's like, hey, I'm just here to fix up the stuff that the carpenters do. I'm not gonna heal your wounds or fix your child who has cancer or whatever. What do you think I am? I'm just a carpenter.
Those people really let everybody down.
Would you love me if I was? So
I think it's funny that guy's like, and if you were a lady, like the girl he's with, he's like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, if you're like, hey, what the fuck?
She's like, I am a lady.
Yeah,
you jerk.
So why? So I guess this begs our question number. This is the third reference to popular music.
I'm very tired. Go ahead.
In this song alone, and the song's not even like half done. So. Why reference the song If I Were a Carpenter? And to me, the reason is not so much the literal topic of that song, though I could be missing something, probably am, but just to, again, push the sub-narrative that this is about songs. That's what I think is happening. Again, I could be wrong. That's what I think is happening. Sort of like with Mainstream USA. Like, I'm mentioning songs because it's about songs.
Look, I had no theories, so I'm not going to argue.
They call him No Theory Dave.
They call me Half Thought.
So anyway, let's continue. Now that we didn't crack that reference, If I Were a Carpenter, I'd hammer on my piglet. We got to, every line we got to talk. This is why this takes so long.
I Googled piglet because I thought it was something else. And it's not. I'm like, this has to mean something else. Is this like a carpenter's tool? So it's just literally hammering on a little baby pig.
Well, so he's talking about a piggy bank, obviously, like the old cartoonish little Dennis the Menace-y thing of
why obviously
of a boy,
maybe he's hammering on a pig,
of a boy like breaking his piggy bank with a hammer and collecting the money inside and buying a thing that he wants. This again kind of brings to mind the throw the crib door wide. It's like something a little kid would do.
I'm sorry,
a little kid keeps a piggy bank.
I have to disagree.
An adult.
I think he's just smashing a pig with a hammer.
Well, so
I think he's a fucking psycho.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. So. Instead of the lyrics saying,
right.
I'd hammer on my piggy bank, which, by the way, I think would fit pretty well in the meter with hammer on my piggy bank.
Yeah.
He's saying hammer on my piglet, which is sad and violent and upsetting. I mean, at least for me. Maybe some people are like, yeah, fucking kill those little... And then he'd collect this is such a dense verse, my God. And I'd collect the $7 and... All I think about is the Cape Fear clip we played where he's just like $7. That made me like have a mini TMBG stroke. I went, we want to...
I was going to ask you about your face.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Why is it so good?
There's just, it's like, this is kind of what I mean about everything's like falling on top of each other. So you got the If I Were a Carpenter reference.
So is the only reason he wants to be a carpenter because he will finally have a hammer? To break a piggy bank and get $7 measly from?
That's the other thing that's funny. You don't need to be a carpenter
Like
to own a hammer.
Only a carpenter has access to hammers?
Exactly. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's like absurd. This is an absurd song.
My word.
John Linnell, what are you talking about?
I take you to task. Be less absurd.
This might, if we were to do like a countdown of like some of the densest verses in a They Might Be Giants song, this is one of them. I feel like
That's why I have a headache.
You can't unpack this. But you had a headache every day
and life.
So then he goes,
or maybe because yesterday was New Year's Eve.
Collect the $7 and I'd buy a big prosthetic forehead and wear it on my real head. So this is my theory, and I'm actually surprised how little I've seen this online and among fans.
I'm not. I think you're a smart boy. And a good boy.
I believe he wants a prosthetic forehead because he took the rock with a string on it and spun it around like a yo-yo and smacked himself in his noggin, in his little baby noggin.
His little dumb baby face.
Yeah. So now follow me here, and then, we're going to wrap this up soon, but follow me here. He smacks himself in the head. Now he wants a prosthetic head to cover up his horrible scar. And then this takes us to verse 1. Where was I? I forgot the point that I was making.
Damn.
Perhaps because he has brain damage from hitting himself in the head with a rock. And then you find yourself in this perpetual loop.
A snake eating its own tail.
Yes. See? Dave knew what I was saying. So you got themselves in this loop. He hits himself in the head.
Calm down.
He hits himself in the head with a rock. He forgets what the hell he was doing, and then he buys another rock and just keeps doing it and covering it up with prosthetic forehead. Then he hits himself in the forehead again, damages the prosthetic forehead, then does it again until he's got like 80 prosthetic foreheads covering up the scars on his head. And this is the nightmare of a John Linnell song that we're all trapped in.
Wow.
People, wake up! So the next song...
I mean, I gotta say, if that's not what it is...
It should be.
I have to give credit where credit's due. That is a very good analysis.
Yeah.
See, you are a smart boy.
Honestly, folks, that's the bulk of it. I mean...
I just wanted to say really quick, this was the first song I can recall in memory that was shared between me and my wife. This song was on her laptop in her dorm room.
Did you like cut it in half like King Solomon?
And I was like, oh, you like They Might Be Giants?
Oh, wow.
And she was like, yeah, I like this song.
That's crazy.
It was definitely this song. The only thing I can't remember 100%, I know she mislabeled the song. I was asking her today if she remembered what she called the song.
Okay.
We're pretty sure she called it Prosthetic Forehead.
Oh, okay.
And that was also the first account of me going, that's not the name of the song. And,
welcome to my life.
Already
correcting people about They Might Be Giants.
Already starting to annoy her about it. She had to retype it.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a fun little tidbit.
That's beautiful. I love when Dave shares stories about his love life.
The other thing is there is a song by Green Day called Prosthetic Head, which, I think it was a single, actually. I doubt highly that it had anything to do with this song.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny, the idea of prosthetic heads is more universal than one might think.
Yeah, well, it comes up in a lot of They Might Be Giants things, and it is weird that, it's a strange, there's something very upsetting about the idea. We watched the movie In Fabric, and there's a lot of mannequin heads and weirdness with that. It's a weird horror movie I recommend. Those sort of a comedy too. But yeah, there's like a motif in that with just like fake faces and heads and just...
You should watch Tourist Trap. It's like the same thing.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it never ceases to work. Like anytime the camera cuts to like a weird mannequin face, I'm just like, oh,
yeah, no.
It always works. The only last point I want to make about this song is a quick musical thing. In my opinion, this song has a sinister harmony happening under the harmony that Linnell is doing.
Prosthetic foreheads on their real heads. Everybody wants prosthetic foreheads on their real heads. Throw the crib door wide, let the people crawl inside. Someone in this town is trying to burn the playhouse down. They want to stop the ones who want prosthetic foreheads on their heads. But everybody wants prosthetic foreheads on their real heads.
Next song.
The lead.
Oh, sorry.
The lead vocal, everybody wants a rock too. And under it, Linnell's doing this very low.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a rock too. And to me, it's like an intentional, like, kind of like subliminal, the song and the concept.
Or maybe that's the guy that's just like so brain damaged he can't emote anymore.
Yeah, exactly.